All right, it's time to get started again on this Handmade Network Jam project that I've been doing this week. So, as usual, as a reminder, if you're into this project or any of the projects I've got going on, all of it is funded by people like you who check out what I'm doing at mrforth.com and look at the mrforth.com/membership page. We've got cool perks for becoming a supporter at various different tiers. You can be billed monthly or yearly. Check it out, and it's much appreciated if you do decide to make the decision to help keep the lab going. So, with that, let's talk about Bin Dash, the Jam project. Yesterday, most of what is here was shown on stream yesterday. There's a little bit of new stuff, which is I added coloring in, so I can do this now. When I click on a message, it gets selected, and then I can see which one is selected right there. Alright, so I can see, like, okay, no room for the PE signature at the cough offset specified. So this is the offset specified, and you can see, you know, I can select these. Some of these don't make any sense. Like, this should not be the machine type, so that error just doesn't even make sense. Optional cough header, that shouldn't be the optional cough header, so it's thinking that the cough header is right here, I think, and parsing it as if it was. So that's a little bit off. Some of this is a little off. The highlighting the boxes is off. I'd like it to do one single box. So there's visual stuff that's off, but I want to focus on the way that the errors aren't quite as useful as they could be yet. And it's not just that the errors aren't useful, but it's like this is, let's think about the context here. This is the raw binary, like the hex view of just the file, right? It doesn't mean a whole lot by itself. So this is not really that useful. What I really want to be able to do is I want to be able to see where the parser thinks important things are. So I want to take a step away from working on the errors, and I want to mix in the ability to just mark up ranges as, like, the parser identified this range as this thing and this range as this thing, and so on and so on. So to get started, I think I'm going to set up a samples folder. So I've got a folder of broken samples. Let's get a folder of regular samples set up as well. Samples, and see, I need another one called build, and I think some good samples would be base DLL, DE dump, PE dump.obj, mini generated, bin dash exe. So there are some samples. So look at this, see, we get no errors, but I also don't get a hex view at all. So I want to think about that first. Right now, I set this thing up as an errors view, but I kind of want to change my perspective on that. I think it's a little confusing because I do want to be able to say, like, what are the errors and look at errors, but I also want to be able to make a hex view. I want to be able to just say, like, give me the hex view of the file and have the hex view containing all of the markup, right? So, like, I've got file hex here, but what about I've got file hex here, but what about just general hex for the whole thing? Okay. So rendering all of that is causing a problem. And it's showing up as red when it shouldn't. So let's try to fix a few of these things. Let's start by, we're going to need the renderer to keep up. So we'll just stop the loop at that point. And we're just adding in windowing here. Right now this will just be 0. Just like this. Let me take a look. Someone just sent me a cool looking link. Let's take a look. Is this a command line utility? I mean, it looks like it does a lot of cool stuff. It's a little brutal as an interface, but yeah, this looks pretty cool. They probably have good ideas in here. Now, I don't know about this. I see, yeah. Yeah, this is kind of what I want to build, except I want to build one that would be a lot less brutal looking than this. But that is an interesting... I want to... Whoops, actually... keep this around for future investigation. Patrick, have you've seen Imhex, right? The one that we've been using? This one is, to me, quite impressive. It comes with these hex pattern things, and then just does this. Wait, where is the... Did it not work? Oh, apparently it didn't manage to parse this one. Yeah, I actually don't know how to parse the DOS header. Never bothered with that part. I just get the cough header pointer. Anyway. That one's quite impressive. Okay. So, for now, getting back on track of what I was thinking about, I've got the hex view here. Let's set it up so that it won't mark the hex view that way. Icon codes. Man, I don't feel like I have as many icons here as I would like now that I'm looking at all of them. Gonna have to get a little more detailed about how that works. No, that's not the one. Yeah, that's the best I probably have right now. Maybe by the end of the jam, I can go track down a better icon font, like upgrade my icons to have a lot more stuff and make this better. But that'll work. So now I want to make some markup, which is what the parser is going to have to help with. We created this as the error system, but I'm going to change it. Okay. So this is going to be like the exact same thing, except it's going to use the ranges like this, I guess, or the markup maybe. Cool. I'll save that for later again. Let's see. Nice. Okay, so that's a step in the right direction. But there's some things about that I don't like. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at this and think about it. For one thing, the color is red, but they're all going to be red. I kind of want to start color coding this. I need some kind of color palette, system like ImHex has or something. And then I want the ability to correlate the color here with the color here. So let's mark up a couple more things and then think about how we will do that, how we will color code, how we will make things of the same mark, the same color, and deal with error coloring and stuff like that. Yeah, I'll do like an offset column and stuff like that at some point too. I'm more worried about the stuff that is not just trivial pretty stuff. Like that's just I won't learn anything new about the problem by doing the offset column. So this is the DOS header. This is the PE signature here. See, what I'm kind of thinking is like, what if... Okay. First of all, I don't know about this chunk here. This is that chunk of, like, DOS-y stuff that I have never learned about. So that's just going to have to remain a mystery to me for now. I have to go and actually learn what this chunk is about. But that right there is the pointer, right? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15? Would have expected 16. 16 lines. Well, I think that this points here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, 16, yeah. So that's 16 and 8 goes there. This is where the columns and rows would actually be helpful. I'm seeing it. Trust me, I know. So this is like a pointer that points to here. So it would be cool to know that in the markup, right? Not only do I want to be able to mark a range and say, here's what this range means, I want to be able to say that this is a pointer to this. So when I say, here's my PE signature, I would like to be able to say, how did I figure out where the position of the PE signature? Well, I figured that out based on this pointer here. I'm going to come back and think about that. I'm going to mark a few more ranges first. Oops. PE signature, cough header. Cool. Okay. Oops. That should go into the markup channel. And now you can start to see, like, I really can't tell which chunk is which. Even though they're all colored red, they're the same color, so they all look like the same range. Fix that soon. We'll fix it soon. That's a cool idea. I could physically, like, spatially separate them too. That's true. Now, there's some other funny stuff that happens here, like we are once again kind of bumping into the idea of the hierarchy that I started with over here, now right here, right? Like this is the data directories, but there's actually 16 data directories here. Like there's an array of 16 of them. And I've colored them all as one big block. Which might not be what you want, right? And I think a part of the question here is what are the affordances I can add to a visualizer like this that'll allow me to make it as useful as possible, and what are the uses that I actually want to go after. So like if you're building generators for these, then being able to see like, oh, okay, I generated these and here's my debug directory and here's my this directory and that could be pretty useful. So having additional markup for all of these, so like when I see this, then the list comes out and the hex comes out and all that could be cool. Yeah, we're kind of just exploring for possible use cases here. If I separate them out, the upside, let's talk upsides and downsides to that idea. Physically separating them, one, it gets a little tricky with something like this. Like I'd have to do, here's a block and then intentionally add in some space. You know what, there's a way I could do it. Let's actually, I see a way we could do this. Let's go look at viz, hex, Here's what it would be like if I used Y spacing at the end of each block. Oh, not right there. Right there. Right? Not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure like if I want the padding. So like one thing is, do I want this to have its own line as well? And then maybe I want it to be a little bit more, like, or less, right? So there's Y advance and there's Y advance chunk. And like, what if this was actually like a little bigger? Or a little smaller. It's kind of cool. All right. I'm going to turn that off. I want to try to mess with color for a minute. So I'm going to give each message a color by doing, you know what, actually I'm gonna undo this real quick. Color text 0, just be color text. Okay, so to get that, what we need to do is give each message one of these, Okay. So let's see, I want to do I have color? Yeah, I need to go get color. All right, now we'll fill out the color wheel. Okay, so they're not that distinct from each other. Now, why are those blue like that? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, it could be that the background colors are not distinct enough, or have the alpha too low, but hold on, something else weird is happening. Hmm. Okay. I think that helps getting those back to being yellow. I think that those should be a different color though. Instead of color text, I should make those like gray, right? There we go. Okay. Now what if I did... $12 colors again. I think the other thing I should do is make the neighboring colors. So we have 12. Let me just think about this in terms of if I had 6. I write my code in 4Coder. 4Coder.net. Go check out the Discord for 4Coder if you want to chat with people who know a lot of 4Coder stuff. And you can download the public version here. And there's also 4Coder community fork where the community has made some updates beyond what was published in the original open source version. All right, so color wheel is up and running, which is cool. Trying to think of where to go next. So A few things. One, let's keep marking up things so that I can get to the point where I have stuff going off the bottom, and then let's think about how scrolling will work with a view like this. So we did data directories. Right now I'm running the CL compiler, but my setup is set up, my build system is set up so that I can change it, and it should just always work, whichever compiler I choose, as long as I'm not running the program. Alright, so I can run Clang, I can run CL. Keep it working under as many compilers as I have on my machine. I don't have GCC set up, and I don't really feel like doing that, but if I was on Linux, I would also make sure that that was working. Nice. Cough header is 4 bytes? That doesn't seem right. What happened there? Weird. I have to think about that. Yeah, Florcoder is very Emacs based. No, bitwise operators aren't just for limited memory. They're also for speed. Whenever you're doing like, well, C doesn't come with like a good system for flags, so that's just that's just because C is kind of clunky. But you also want bitwise operators for when you're doing stuff like compressed data streams or memory manipulation, low-level memory manipulation. Like I do some bitwise operators, for instance. Let's see. If we go to my gen code, we have some bitwise stuff here. Right, lots of bitwise manipulation here because we're applying pointer fix-ups. So we are manipulating the raw binary there as well. I don't think you need bitwise operators in a language. Like, a language would be just fine with, like, you know, shift left, bit buff, low mid bits. This would be fine for me, right? I don't think we actually need binary operators, but you got to do bitwise operations. And actually, a lot of stuff you want to do isn't even in C, like bit scans and stuff. There are instructions in the CPU, right? The CPU is equipped with circuits for doing these things fast. And they're not even available to you in C unless you use some non-standard extensions for like intrinsics and stuff. But that doesn't, you still want access to the circuits that the CPU has, right? That's what a bitwise operator does. It gives you access to capabilities of the CPU. Okay. So, if I grab something like this, now I can't see the symbol table or the string table because they're all off on the bottom. I don't know why the cough header is coming up as 4 bytes. I actually want to go and look at that. That seems like a bug. Yeah, so that says 20. So then the question is, okay, so that comes out as 0 and 20. That's good. So then the question is, nice. Yeah, that's where I started too. You know, I mean, I actually started with Game Maker, so not even C++. I started with a game engine scripting language, learned that, and then I learned C++ to make extension plugins for Game Maker. And then I realized that like C++ was much closer to giving me full power over the computer, and I made a 2D game using, you know, things like vectors and stuff. I made this game here. That way. And around the time I ended that, that's when I started learning C style and made 4Coder. And that was like 5 or 6 years ago. Shit, that was almost 10 years ago that I started that. And learned a lot from that, and you know, just kept going. It's not like I knew all of this from the beginning. It definitely takes a lot of time going through the steps of each piece to get there. So Lori Master, the devlogs are just like um, weekly write-ups, basically reports on how I've done. They show up in your email inbox if you want them, or on the Discord. There aren't currently any exclusive videos, but there definitely could be in the future. I also announce all videos early there. I haven't done a lot of video stuff. I'm gonna get back into videos soon, but I've just not been able to. I haven't been able to have my recording space to myself until very recently. So I haven't been working on videos, and I've been jamming this week. So it's like videos are a little behind, but videos will be coming, and sooner or later there'll be exclusive videos. Um, but right now, none of the videos are exclusive. But the exclusive videos will be things like not commentary on public videos, but like I've been thinking of doing exclusive videos for like partially prepared ideas, or um, demos, like alpha demos and stuff. I also think that members will probably get access to alphas early, so like this bin dash isn't going to be ready for a while. It might take me 6 months or a year to get to a point where I think I can ship a tool like this, but I might put an alpha out in the next month or so for anyone who's there, and that might come with an exclusive video, right? Yeah, man, I the STD vector stuff was where I started to. I actually have, if you go back on my YouTube channel, I have like, I think I actually ended up deleting a lot of these. But I used to make like videos about things like standard vector because that's what I was into, that's what I knew, and I these days program without any of that because I've just come to much prefer the bare metal, like set aside some memory, lay out the bytes, use a struct and an array. That just works for me. My brain is satisfied with it. I like the experience of being able to debug very flat, simple code without a lot of compiler magic in the middle. So keep at it, and that's the path I took. Okay, so the markup that we have here should say 0 to 20. It does. Okay. Doesn't make sense. That should be byte 5 right there. That right there should be byte 5, and it should 20. I know what's happening. There it is. Well, that's a good catch. It's not a problem with the markup system, it's a problem with the layout. There we go. Now the cough header's in the right spot. Okay, so now I can't see the symbol table or the string table, even though I see them here, because, well, they're too far down. So let's set up scrolling. That'll work like this. I need to figure out which line I'm on. View divided by y advance. Floored. Line index times 16. Line index times y advance. Minus layout view y. Okay, let's see here. All right, so the next problem is I need to be able to tell it the height. That doesn't work though because we break. That'll have to work for now. There we go. Now I can see the string table. I can see the symbol table. Man, the string table's big. It's a lot of strings. Cough header. Symbol table. Section table. Nice. Ooh, they're not in order of their appearance in the file. They're in order of when I emit them. That's a little bit off. Let's sort those. Nice. Okay, so I'm thinking it's about time for a lunch break. Just to review what's going on, we've got this hex view now, which is using the same basic structure I had for my errors view before. Added scrolling, which is nice. I think it might be good to just go through and finish filling in all of the markup that I can do here. There's still stuff that about this that isn't that impressive. Like, it'd be nice to be able to use the correlation between these and these to get the layout even better. It'd be nice to maybe do a little bit of work on the visual stuff now. Like, it's hard now that they're all different colors to tell which one is selected. So like keeping a box on the selected one or something like that, something that makes it clear which one is selected, because since they're all different colors now, the selected one doesn't stand out as much as it used to. It also would be nice to be able to like maybe figure out what happens if this gets full enough that it needs to scroll as well, because we've never had a split panel with two scrollable sections before. And there are still other questions here too, like, okay, well, now that I've got this ability, how am I going to actually use this to make sense out of the errors? And this is also the thing I would use to make sense out of something like relocation information, right? If I was looking at, like right here, there's probably a text section. So I could get my sections labeled here and then go, okay, well, if this is a text section, it might have, if it's an object file, this isn't an object file. If I'm looking at my object file here and I look at the text section in it, it might have some relocatable data inside of it. And if it does, I might want to see where those relocations are in the data marked directly. And on, like, you know, annotating the hex. So lots of stuff still to play with and think about here. But this is what we've got so far. I think just getting as much of the file marked as possible would be a good first step. And then maybe a mini map version of the view going to be another thing to think about. There's a lot. There's so much we could do for being able to visualize binary files. And this is just object files and executables or images. I'm starting to think that this could be useful for pretty much any type of file. Any type of file that has like a binary format structure. If I learned how to make a plugin that could ingest the binary and generate all this markup and, you know, whatever tables and other information you might want and diagnostics, all of that together, and have the arrows pointing through the pointers and the markup on here and so on and so on, and the links in between the symbols and stuff, that could be useful for all sorts of file formats. And then it'd be a matter of figuring out how to make a plugin for each file format you care about. So I don't know, I'm getting excited about this idea, but I need a lunch break, and it's been like an hour and a half or so on the stream already. So let's wrap it up here. I'll be back in the next 30 minutes to an hour to pick this up and go farther. I'll see you then.